This intro is going to be a little different than I normally do because I'm going to pivot a little bit for what I normally talk about or even what I do with my shorts. So, first and foremost, I want to dedicate this video to people that are going through losing a loved one during the year 2024 or even before 2024 that the holidays make it harder for you, makes you think about them, makes you reflect. So I want to dedicate it to y'all. Also want to dedicate it to the military guys that can't be home for whatever circumstance, whatever deployments. Also want to dedicate it to the single fathers who don't have their kids, and this time of year is rough for you guys. This is for y'all. And to the single mothers that don't have their kids for this time of the year, because it could be flip flop, whatever your circumstance is. All in all, this is dedicated to everybody going through a rough time. So, as I titled the video, as you're gonna see, I wanted to tell a particular story because I really feel there was a lesson in that story that made this year bearable, if you will. Right? So, last year, 2020, 2023, normally, let me start with as being a military guy, I've been deployed where I don't get to be around my family or see my family, or even the job I have rotates days off. So holidays are very scarce, and I do want to take the time out to say to my family, I'm sorry that the choices I made for my employment hinder our family time and our family moments together. But I love all of y'all, each and every one of you, deeply. So let's get into it. My Christmas story, or a Christmas story, if you will. So I want to talk about my Christmas from last year because I learned a deep lesson that I want to share with you guys now that I have a platform that I can speak and maybe somebody can get a lesson or is lonely on a day like today and need to hear something that'll make them whether feel better or at least somebody who can relate. So it's Christmas of 2023. I want to say 2023. My fam. This is more my family part right now. My family correct me once they hear the story. They'll correct me if I'm wrong as far as the year. So I, you know, because this is kind of the start is the rough part because of Christmas wasn't the way that we wanted it to be, you know. So I called. I was on the phone with my mom, right, and wished her Merry Christmas. Now I don't remember if I called her once or twice that day, but I definitely remember calling her once to wish her a Merry Christmas. And obviously, we were all feeling it, but we took it all in different ways. And long story short, we were all angry. And if people that understand the complexities of the conversation, it would have been taken in the wrong way. And I didn't take it in the wrong way. I just took it that we all were going through our emotions of because Christmas wasn't the way that we wanted it, and we couldn't express it, So, but there was a lot of anger, hurt, whatever it is. So I decided to get in my car and drive a couple of hours away. Because, I do like to keep certain things private from you guys watching, but people that know, they know. So I drove a couple of hours away and I'm sitting in this empty house. I think I called again or whatever the case may be. But what I remember is that I saw Christmas lights next door. I heard a little bit of music. You could tell families were together on this Christmas day. In this house by myself, I remember it was cold. I remember it was cold. Standing there, just looking around, reflecting, thinking. And I said, you know what? Since I'm a couple hours away, and I said, you know what? I'm going to get a room, and I'm going to go to this dive bar, right? Now, like, this dive bar was across the street from the hotel, so didn't have to worry about driving or nothing. But I wanted that old cliche, and in other words, like, probably the closest character is Max Payne for you video game guys. If you guys don't know and you're on YouTube, you can look up the Max Payne video game series and just the storyline. But that was what I was really feeling at the time. I wanted to be in a bar with like maybe 2 or 3 people, not kind of lonely, as my mom would say, throw a pity party, if you will, because things didn't go the way that I wanted it to go. So I get the hotel room and it's quiet. Yeah, the heater, AC, whatever, you hear the unit. Once again, I'm just standing in my thoughts. And I said, screw it. I'm just going to go across the street. Walking across the street. And I get there. It's a full-blown party. You would think it was a Saturday night on like or like a St. Patrick's Day, Cinco de Mayo kind of crowd. It was wall to wall people, and it blew my mind. Like I was like, I'm just gonna keep it real. I was like, what the fuck is this? I wanted to drink by my lonesome. I wanted to be depressed. I wanted to have a pity party, and here I am in a place that's supposed to be a dive bar. It's a full-blown club. Everybody's having a good time. Everything's flowing, and I was just in my inner thoughts. I was confused and perplexed, if you will. So eventually, probably my second drink in or something like that. This guy, he sits next to me in the bar. He's like, hey, Merry Christmas, all that stuff. Like, just say my curiosity got the better of me. So since he struck up a conversation, we was talking, told her where I was from, and I said to him, why are all these people here? And he said something so profound, like, and it's crazy because like I was saying, like I mentioned earlier, that I'm a military guy. I'm used to be deployed. I'm used to missing holidays and birthdays, and with the job I have, I'm used to the same thing. So you would think I wouldn't be surprised, but this just blew my mind altogether. And he said, you know, people are here for different reasons tonight. You know, some people, the glue that kept all the holidays going, they passed away, so people are sad for that person being gone, and they don't want to celebrate. Or people don't have their kids and everything else like that, or the kids got older and they're doing their own thing, having their own families. And and he said for him that he had kids, and like his kids were older. He was one of those, like, kind of in my category, older but looks young. So his kids were grown, and for some reason, I guess they didn't want to come to where he was because they have kids and all that stuff. So I said there was no sense of me sitting home and just being by myself with nobody open gifts or nothing. So I came out here. And so, I proceeded to tell him my story. But what I learned that night was kind of like generations have changed so much that holidays are not holidays no more. And it's not, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a, I mean, I'll be bold and say that it's not a bad thing, because, this time of year usually brings a little more self deletions, um, psychological issues, things of that nature. But these are a group of people, and whether we judge or not, like, is alcohol the best way to handle something? Not really, but, not here to judge. But they didn't go to that extreme. They say, you know what? I'm going to try to make lemonade out of lemons. And, and I'm glad that that happened, that I wasn't by my lonesome or in my mind, because this is what happens to a lot of people. They're in their minds. They go down that rabbit hole, if you will. And it turned out to be a good night, and I learned that I wasn't by myself. You know, there are people. I mean, I spoke to a few people. Text them, talk to them. You got people that not even putting up Christmas trees this year. Um, People that gotta work, and like, some people it's financials. Like I said, this video is a little bit of a pivot, so I'm not even talking about the politics aspect of it as far as financial, because that's not the message I'm trying to convey today. Just trying to convey more than, like, people are not necessarily in the spirit this year as well. You kind of see it, you kind of know it, and they don't know how to express it. So, I wanted to take the time to share that story, because what I learned from it is kind of like what we say on our job and everything, or just like we say in the military. It's okay to not be okay. You know, Shout out to Anton Daniels, because he does say this a lot. He says, when you get a situation, it's 10% the situation and 90% of how you handle it, you know? And, I took it, I took it as, wow, like, you got people from all walks of life. And, and as crazy as it sounds, it was beautiful because it wasn't like a typical party night or typical bar night where like there was expectations how like you normally go out somewhere like sometimes the single guys, oh, we hope to meet some women, and or vice versa, whatever the case may be. It was kind of like a night where people were exchanging the struggles that they going through and why the holidays were so hard. So I I'm sharing this story because, like I said, I know there might be somebody going through it and they're not sure how to navigate it. And this time of year can be trying for a lot of people. And, before I turn on the camera tonight, because what I do is what my longer content videos, I link it in my social media. So what I like to do is I like to put a song to it. I don't just like to make it a post, but I started to learn how to make it a theme. And I think the theme in all of this was the Tupac song Me Against the World. And I know if you're younger, you haven't heard it, take the time to listen to it. It's a deep song. And I was saying this is it. This is the theme, because as I turn around and reflect today, as I did during that time, it does feel like me against the world. Because you always have somebody that wants something. You always got somebody that tears you down. You always got setbacks and everything else like that. And like it the song, what it means to me is like, no matter what you're going through, you hold your head up, chin out, chest out, and you handle your business. You know, like my mom would say, it's okay to throw a pity party, but after that party's over, you got to handle it. Whatever it is, you got to handle it. And you got to get through it. So I don't want to keep you guys too long because, it'll be Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, depending on when you watch it. And because there will be people with their families and everything. But today, whenever you watch it, I just want to dedicate this video to those people that feel lonely in the dedications I put early in the video. And I want to let you know that it's going to be all right. And we'll get through these holidays. And if you're struggling through something, call somebody. Talk to them. Let them know that you're not okay. And be acceptable if somebody calls you and says, hey, I'm not okay. Sometimes my stepfather would say, sometimes, especially as men, we like to fix problems. And sometimes things like this are not fixable. So sometimes we just have to listen and be intuitive to what the person's saying and being acceptable to that. So with this, have a Merry Christmas. Have a Happy New Year. And please like, comment, and subscribe. And yes, there is more content to come. Thank you.